All right, welcome everyone to the NCAA Division I women's basketball first and second rounds in Iowa City. A reminder that Southeastern Louisiana's locker room is currently open for additional interviews with student athletes. We are joined by student athletes Haley Giarratano, Natalie Kelly, and Jalencia Pierre. Please remember to raise your hands, wait for the microphone, and please state your name and affiliation when asking your questions. For anyone online asking questions, please include your name and affiliation as well. Thank you to our student athletes for joining us today, and we'll begin with questions.
Jeff Linder, Cedar Rapids Gazette. What has the last week or so been like? Your first time in the NCAA tournament. What's it been like down there?
It's been a surreal feeling coming back from, we made history earlier in the week to now being here at the NCAA tournament. It's been an amazing experience for me and the team. We're just trying to enjoy every moment, but also lock in for the game.
Yeah, I feel like we've been on a real high lately. Played our best basketball, won a championship. We got to come down and focus on this game.
Yeah, winning 2 championships, that was a blessing. But, as we come over here, we're trying to, make a statement for ourselves even bigger than what it is now. So we just have to come out here and play our best ball.
Kyle Huseman, Hawkeye Report. Question for any of the players. Iowa likes to go at a really fast pace, getting up and down the court and score a lot of points. What do you guys have to do to try to slow the game a little bit and not let them, get out and run as much as they do?
I think we have to pick up early in transition, of course, know where those players are, know where Caitlin is, and really pressure them all the way down the court so they don't feel so comfortable.
Susan Harmon, hawkfanatic.com. How would you guys describe your style as a team, both offensively and defensively?
Defensively, we are a great team. Our defense come off our offense. As we come down, it's like we a good defense team. So, as us pressing the ball and making them, I know they're a fast team, but we could really, slow them down as far as Caitlin Clark pushing the ball up the floor and stuff like that.
Coming into the beginning of this year, I feel like our defense has really carried us. When we're in the locker room talking with our coaches, a lot of them always have the statement of, you guys are a hardworking blue-collar team. And I think that's just something we kind of adopted as a team. We kind of grew to kind of make that our identity. So we're definitely a gritty team, love to play physical, but we can definitely get up and down the court as well.
This first 2 rounds are a sellout here. You aren't very accustomed to playing in front of really big crowds. Just what kind of, how do you think you'll handle the atmosphere, and what are your thoughts about, 14,000?
Yeah, this past week we've really been focusing on talking loud, being able to hear each other, just focusing on that. So I think if we really focus in and, hear each other, hear our play calls, hear what our coaches are saying, I think we'll be okay.
I think our biggest thing, like I talked about earlier, is also just kind of enjoying the moment. So it's definitely a bigger stage than we're used to. But I think if we just take our time and just relax, not let the whole stage get to us, we'll be okay.
Susan Harmon, what do you guys have played some really good teams, LSU, for example. What do you take away from those kinds of games against Power 5 teams that can help you tomorrow?
I just think having that confidence, knowing that we did compete with them, having that confidence in each other, and knowing that it doesn't really matter who we play as long as we play together.
for Natalie. Monica Zanano has had a wonderful 5 years here. What do you see in her, and what do you guys have to do to handle her in the post?
Much respect to her. She's a great post player. For me, I feel like it's just being physical with her. Obviously, when it comes to being in the post, it's always a battle each and every night for 40 minutes. So it's definitely a task that I know is going to be a big one for me. I welcome it. Defense is our thing, so it's always a challenge. But, at the end of the day, why not take on the challenge of trying to, guard one of the best post players that the team has? And it's what I'm definitely going to step up to.
All right, any additional questions? All right, thanks to our student athletes for joining us today. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, next up we'll have head coach Ayla Gazzardo.
Let me know. I'm here.
Would you like to do an opening statement?
It doesn't matter. It's up to you. Questions are fine.
All right, and right now we're joined by head coach Ayla Gazzardo, and we'll start with questions.
Susan Harmon, HawkFanatic.com. Is your guard Horn going to be able to play?
She is not. She is still out with a knee injury. She will not be playing tomorrow.
How does that change things for you guys?
I don't want to say it changes our whole dynamic. Throughout this whole season, we've had players really step up, a different variety of players. Lex being one of those people that have been consistent pretty much all year. She's had rough games, but Haley has stepped up in her role. Jalencia Pierre has stepped up in her role. Taylor Bell stepped up really big in our conference championship game. So everybody has really stepped up and taken over everyone else's slack.
Zach Martin, Quad City Times. You guys have been obviously one of the better defensive teams in the country. You have a +5.5 turnover margin. In a game like this against a team that loves to push the tempo, how critical is it going to be to get those stops early and force enforce a decent amount of turnovers within the first quarter?
Yeah, we've been blessed to been starting on transition defense since June. So we've been working on transition defense since we got here this summer. It's been our key to our defense. We have to stop the ball in transition. Luckily for us, we got matched up with Iowa, who loves to push. So finding them early in transition is going to be big, making sure we're protecting that rim because they do run the rim really, really well. We've got to do it on both ends of the floor, and it starts with our defense.
Kylie Huseman, Hawkeye Report. We've mentioned, how fast Iowa likes to play. Is your guys' plan to kind of try to slow that down? Is going up and down the court something that you feel like you guys can do? I just know, looking at your guys' box scores, you guys normally like to play a lower scoring game.
Yeah, for us, we try to keep it as low as possible. We're trying to keep teams within 55, 50. When we're facing in Iowa, we're going to try to keep them a lot lower than their average. Playing fast with them is not going to be what we're going to be looking for necessarily. We're going to play our speed, our style of the game. We're going to push when it's available, but as far as running with them, it's going to be tough to run with them. They're at the top of the league, top in the nation for a reason. You have to play smart, and you have to be able to game plan versus them, and I think our coaching staff has done a great job with executing and game planning for Iowa.
John Bonenkamp, Associated Press. There was mention to the players about tomorrow being a sellout crowd, 14,000 people. Biggest stage you guys have seen this year. How do you handle that, and do you talk about it at all?
We've talked about it, but we've also played LSU. We've played Utah. We've played Alabama. So we've played in big environment, Power 5 schools. Now this is going to be a little bit bigger than everything else because this is a way bigger stage than playing at Alabama, in Tuscaloosa. We really focus on us. What we do well. Luckily for us, we've had a very veteran group. Jen Pierre is probably our newest player for our team, but everybody else is a veteran group. So they've played on those big moments, those big stages, and versus those great competition opponents such as Iowa. Playing Caitlin Clark is going to be fun for them. They're ready for the challenge. They're not necessarily starstruck. They want to compete and they want to defend, and that's what they do on a daily basis. So it's just another day for us.
You mentioned going up against Alabama and LSU. You guys held Alabama 15 points below their normal average, and LSU 21 points below. Are there things that you guys did in those games that you feel like could carry over to tomorrow's game?
Oh yeah, versus Angel Reese, you have to be extra attentive to her, touching her a little bit more, making her uncomfortable. Everything that she does is going to be tough. It's going to be the same type of game plan there. Everything they do on the offensive end, we have to make sure it's tough. They're going to make shots. She's going to hit outside shots. They're going to finish around the rim, but everything they're going to have to do is going to have to be tough through us. We're going to have to make sure and be the physical team, and that's us. That's who we are. We do it on a daily basis. Our players talked about being blue-collar players. That's because that's who they are. That's who we recruit.
Have you guys always, even during the summer or, even parts of last year, have you guys always identified as that blue-collar, gritty team that's gonna, grind their teeth and not make it easy for anybody you play?
Hands down. If you ask anybody in our league, that's who we are. Anybody who plays us each year, that's who we are. They know that we're not going to just roll over. In the past, we've been down 15, 20, and we really haven't came back. This year, last year, we're really starting to be where we were down 10 points with 2 minutes left, and we came back. We're not going to give up. And I think that's one thing that our team does is they believe until the clock hits 0, they're going to believe they got a shot to win.
Have you tried to address the fact that, this is the first NCAA tournament for your school and for most of these kids, I think. How do you sort of get them in the moment without it being too big?
We tell them to take all of this as the moment. When we step foot on the floor, we're in between those lines, we have a job to do. But they're enjoying this. They need to enjoy this. I got to experience this at my last school, and this is something that you really, really need to take in. It's a lot of logistical stuff that the coaches have to deal with, but as far as the players, they're just enjoying it. A lot of them have been reaching for this goal since they stepped foot on campus, and I'm so happy they can achieve it together with this group.
Obviously, you guys were able to beat Lamar for the third time when you guys won the conference championship. Do you think that game and that win has allowed a lot of momentum heading into tomorrow, knowing that you guys are playing with kind of nothing to lose? No one really expects you guys to win outside of your own locker room. Is that?
Wait, you don't expect us to win?
I'm
just kidding.
Does winning that conference title allow you guys to have a lot of momentum heading into tomorrow?
I think I know what you're saying. It does. It gives us faith that we can win. We were down pretty much most of the game. We came back. We have done things that we didn't really expect that we could do. Beginning of the year, we played without Natalie Kelly in the post, so we played 5 guards on the floor. We won big games during that time. We competed with LSU during that time. We didn't have our post player. We played with 5 guards and lost them by 8. So we know what we can do even when we're down. Losing Alexius Horn, that was tough, but that only propels us a little bit harder. We're playing for a little bit more because she deserves to be on the court tomorrow. We would love her to be on the court tomorrow, but her teammates are going to play extremely hard for her.
All right. Any additional questions? All right. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thank you very much.
All right. A reminder that the Southeastern Louisiana locker room is still currently open for questions.